And once again, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of Hollywood Insiders. And I'm your host, John Shabb. Today's spotlight shines on the incredible life, legendary voice, and heartbreaking journey of Teddy Pendergrass. From his breakout days as a powerful lead singer of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes to a massive solo career filled with R&B charts, toppings like Love TKO and Turn Off the Lights. Teddy's voice defined soulful romance in the 1970s and 80s, but his life changed forever after a tragic 1982 car accident left him paralyzed.
Of course. So what was the first thing you had about?
Discover how this icon fought through unimaginable adversaries, inspired millions, and left his eternal mark on music history. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into legends who shaped the entertainment industry. Here is a comprehensive breakdown of Teddy Pendergrass' early life and career, beginning structured perfectly for a documentary script or a deep dive YouTube video. The early life. The miracle baby. Born Theodore DeRuise Pendergrass in the 1950s. He was a true miracle child. His mother, Ida, had suffered 6 miscarriages before successfully carrying Teddy to term. Fatherless upbringing. His father, Jesse, abandoned the family before Teddy was born. Teddy only met him twice before his father was tragically stabbed to death when Teddy was just 12 years old. The church refuge. To keep him safe from the tough North Philadelphia streets, his deeply religious mother kept him in church up to 6 days a week. The young minister. Teddy's musical roots began in the church. At just 2 years old, he had stand on a chair so the congregation could see him sing. By age 10, he was an ordained minister and an incredible talented gospel singer and drummer. Now, who would ever believe that Teddy Pendergrass was an ordained minister? How he started from drums to stardom. The sparks. As a teenager, Teddy saw Jackie Wilson performing at the Uptown Theater. Seeing how women reacted to Wilson planted the seed for him to pursue secular R&B music. He eventually dropped out of high school in the 11th grade to chase his dreams. Behind the drum kit, Teddy started his professional career not as a singer, but as a drummer. He taught himself to play by ear and began drumming for local vocal groups, including the Cadillacs. The breakdown. In 1970, legendary musician Harold Melvin spotted Teddy Whittam's skills and hired him to be a drummer for the Blue Notes. Stepping to the mic in 1971, the lead singer of the Blue Notes abruptly quit. Harold Melvin famously moved Teddy from behind the drums to the front of the stage. The Philly Soul Explosion, with Teddy raw, husky baritone vocals leading the way. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes signed with Philadelphia International Records. They immediately exploded into stardom with timeless hits, If You Don't Know Me By Now and The Love I Lost. The solo starship was the solo superstar in the Black Elvis 1977/1981, breaking history. After leaving Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes in 1976 due to financial dispute, Pendergrass also went solo under the Philadelphia International Records label. He became the first African American male artist to achieve 5 consecutive platinum albums. Teddy Pendergrass' life is a song worth singing. Teddy P. in the Time of Love. 4 ladies concerts. Standing 6'2" with strong good looks and an intense hyper-masculine stage presence. Pendergrass became the ultimate 1970s sex symbol. He pioneered for ladies-only concerts where the audience were entirely female, throwing underwear and keys on the stage while they sang hits, or while he sang hits, close the door and turn off the lights. The Black Elvis, his massive crossover appeared in ability to sell out stadiums, arenas, earned him the nickname the Black Elvis from media promoters. The fateful night, the 1982 accident, the crash on March the 18th, 1982, at the absolute peak of his fame. Teddy was driving his Rolls Royce split Silver Spirit, the Germantown section of Philadelphia. He lost control of the vehicle, which crossed into oncoming traffic and slammed violently into a tree. The injury, the roof of the car collapsed on him. It took emergency responders over an hour to cut him out of the wreckage. The crash fractured his spine, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down. Quadriplegic at just 31 years old. The media mystery. A mass media storm erupted regarding the passenger in his car. Talika Watson, a transsexual, transgender performer. 1980s press exploited the situation, creating intense speculation that overshadowed the tragedy and deeply affect both of their reputation. Watson later confirmed it was an accident ride home and that the brakes simply failed on the vehicle. Depression and Redemption in Live Aid 1985. The dark years. Following the accident, Teddy fell into a severe multiple-year depression, even admitting later in the autobiography that he initially wanted to end his life. He had to completely learn how to breathe and use his dive to sing without abdominal muscles. The Triumphant return, Live Aid 1985. On July the 13th, Teddy made his emotional return to stage at the historic Live Aid concert in JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. We are out in front of 90,000 fans and over billions watching globally. He joined Ashford and Simpson to sing Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hands. That wasn't a dry eye in the stadium. Later success and legacy. He went on to record his more hits, including the #1 R&B hit Joy in 1988. He also founded the Teddy Pendergrass Alliance, a foundation dedicated to helping individuals with spinal cord injuries. He officially retired in 2006 and passed away from colon cancer complication in 2010 at the age of 59. Whitney Houston launch pad. Before she was a global superstar, a young, virtually unknown Whitney Houston was handpicked to duet with Teddy Pendergrass in 1984 while Teddy was deeply in recovery from his accident. they recorded the Hold Me. For this album, Love Language, the track became number 10 hit and served as the very first major commercial expose of Whitney's career, later appearing on her iconic 1985 debut album. The Ruthless Gamble and Huff contract. Teddy didn't just leave Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes over money. He left because Harold Melvin was allegedly pocketing the bulk of the group's income, while Teddy was doing all the heavy lifting as the lead vocalist. Seeing his star power, legendary producer Gamble and Huff of the Philadelphia International Records secretly bagged Teddy. They knew he was the real money maker and helped orchestrate his exit to launch him as a solo career or a solo juggernaut, completely shifting the power dramatically to the Philly soul era. The hothead and arrogant charm. In the industry, Teddy was known to have an incredible, fiery, sometimes combative personality. Kenny Gamble famously remarked Teddy had a hot head, but added that his raw was exceptional, what made him a magnet on stage. He was softly or orderly, polished like Marvin Gaye or Al Green. He brought a gruff, unapologetically intense masculinity to soul music that didn't exist before him. The tragic irony of his lasting legacy. Teddy's final performance for a live audience took place on a PBS special, and he officially retired from the business in 2006 in a cruel twist of fate. The man who spent decades fighting to live and sing after a horrified 1982 car crash was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2009. Following a difficult month-long battle in a hospital bed, he passed away from respiratory failure on January 13, 2010 at the age of 59. The brutal post-death estate feud. A shocking angle for a YouTube video is the bitter multiple-year legal war that tore his family apart after his death. The forged will. Teddy's son, Theodore Pendergrass II, Teddy's widow, Pendergrass, in court. The son produced a conflicting will from May the 9th, from May 2009, claiming that Teddy left the entire estate to him. The judgment in 2014, a Pennsylvania judge officially ruled that the son's will was completely fraudulent. Nurses testified that a paralyzed Teddy could not have possibly left his house to sign the document on the day his son claimed. The court called his son's testimony wholly lacking in incredibility. John Warren sold Troll, but the $850,000 legal battle left the family permanently. The Hollywood buyout battle. Even today, Teddy's story remains highly controversial in Hollywood. For years, actors, singers like Tyrese Gibson have been trying to glue to the star in a Teddy Pendergrass buyout, claiming he was born to play the legend. However, the project had been locked in legal gridlock after Tyrese production company sued John Pendergrass for allegedly pulling back the rights of the story. Teddy Pendergrass was a force of nature. He rose from a church stool in North Philly to become the ultimate war of R&B romance, only to face a tragedy that would have broken anyone else. But Teddy didn't just survive. He taught us what it means to find joy in the darkest of time. His voice will live forever, but his unbeatable spirit is his true legacy. If you love this deep dive into the life of Teddy Pendergrass, make sure you hit that smash like, drop a comment below. Were you aware that he was an ordained minister before he got his start in R&B? Just like you, I was not aware that he was an ordained minister.
Yeah.
This is a surprise to me as well.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you would not miss out on the next episode of Hollywood Insiders. Again, I'm your host, John Shaft, and I'm out here today at Starbucks doing this on the life and time of Teddy Pendergrass. This is something new that I'm doing today. Don't know if I'm going to keep this up, simply because I have a lot of interruptions trying to conduct such a video out in public like this.
So what you want me to do, baby?
But it is what it is. Once again, we thank you for rocking with us and tuning in to each and every episode. See you guys again in the next video.